this very special item. The military has come up with a lie detector. And Mr. Lula was asking me about it because he wanted to make sure that when he needs to, he can ask you a question and have you do it. I paid $10,000 for it. I paid $5,000 for it. All right, I paid $35 on eBay. Okay, so we're going to try it out. Let's see, what's your name?
Francisco.
Stand up, Francisco. Give him a round of applause. Hold your hand out like this.
Tell the truth,
right
Francisco.
Right at the top. There you go. Okay, I'm going to ask you a couple of questions. You answer them truthfully, Francisco. Are you ready? Are you a good boy?
Yes.
You wouldn't lie, would you?
No. That was right.
So you always tell the truth?
No. Nice.
Let's ask someone else. What's your name? Hi, Sophia. Hold it. Right there in the middle. Okay. These a couple. Let's see. Did you do your homework?
Yes.
Did you copy someone else's homework?
No.
That was so-so, I think. It's not making much noise. Did your dog eat the homework?
I don't have a dog.
Let's ask someone else. Stand right there. Right on the bubble gum. All right. Hold it right there. Okay. What's your name? Marlon. Okay.
That's true.
That's true, yeah.
Do you help your mom around the house?
Yes.
Of course he does.
Does she make you clean the toilets?
No.
Did you brush your teeth today? Does she make you clean the toilets with your toothbrush? Did you brush your teeth yesterday? Did you brush them with the toothbrush you clean the toilets with? Were you invited to this storytelling today?
Yes.
Did you sneak in?
No.
Do you like the school? Do you like Plumber?
Yes.
Do you like your teacher? Do you love your teacher?
Yes.
Oh, that's very nice. Give them all a round of applause. All right. Okay.
Yeah, I'm noticing, hold on, George. I'm noticing some talking over there. And if I have more people, I'm going to have to switch some more dates. So Brianna and Edgar, I'm mainly looking your guys. Layla, I don't want any talking. I show respect.
So, the way I start telling the stories is I always ask 3 questions, just 3 questions. Perhaps if you've heard me before, you remember what I did. You're to say every time I ask only those 3 questions, you go, right. So let's practice. Right. Right. So it's only 3 questions only, and that's the answer you give. Are you ready?
Yes.
I'm going to tell you a story.
Right.
It's a lie.
Right.
But not everything in it is false. Now I'm not talking. time. And that is the time I like the best. Now once there was, and once there was not, a carpenter. And he had 3 daughters. Carmen, Rosita, and Pepita. He is Latino. Some say he's Venezuelan, like where I'm from. Well, every day he would go off to work, and every day he would leave the daughters at home, and they would be doing things around the house that they liked doing, and sewing in all sorts of very fine, interesting activities. And one of their primary responsibilities, the one that they liked very much because they cared for this plant very much, was to water the clump of basil. It's a kind of little herb, little clump. It had a bunch of little leaves. It's very beautiful. So each day, one of them would go out and water the clump of basil. Now, they lived in a town, in a village, in a place that had a king. And the king's palace was nearby. And the king liked riddles more than anyone else. So he would travel around and he would visit the countryside. He would always be asking somebody or someone something about a riddle or two. Well, one day he was riding on horseback through the countryside. He came across the oldest daughter coming out watering that clump of basil. Her name was Carmen, as you remember. He came up and he said, "Young lady, give me your best appraisal. How many leaves are on that clump of basil?" And she went, "Ah!" And she went inside. She got scared, I think, because of the king. So the next day, he comes back. He always liked to challenge people, and he would usually stump them with his riddles. And the second sister was out there just at the same time, watering that little clump of basil. "Young lady, give me your best appraisal. How many leaves are on that clump of basil?" And she went inside. The third day, he was having fun with this. He went across the youngest sister, Pepita. She was watering the clump of basil. "Young lady, give me your best appraisal. How many leaves are on that clump of basil?" And she looked at him and said, "Caballero, give me your best reply. How many stars are in the sky?" And he said, "Ah," and he went. Well, he got upset about this because he had been matched. So he disguised himself as a man selling candy, kind of an elderly old man, and he went along just at that time when the oldest daughter was back out there watering the clump of basil. So as she was watering, he said, "Candy, candy for sale." And all 3 daughters, because they loved things that were sweet, came running out. "How much for the candy?" And he says, "1 kiss for each candy." And Carmen went, "Ah!" and went in. The second sister, Rosita, said, "What did you say? 1 kiss on the cheek for each candy." Ah! And went in. And the third one, Pepita, she said, "All right, I will give you 1 kiss on the cheek for each candy in that little jar of yours." And so she did. And she got all the candy. Well, the next day, the king is rolling back through and he says, "Young lady," Pepita was out there, "Young lady, give me your best appraisal. How many leaves on that clump of basil?" And she said, "Caballero, give me your best reply. How many stars are in the sky?" "You with your answers so fine and dandy, how many kisses did you give her, candy?" Ah! And she went in. Well, Pepita was a little upset about this because the king had outwitted her. Well, some time passed, and then it turned out that news came to her that the king was deathly ill. He was feeling terrible, and the news throughout the kingdom was getting to the family. So, Pepita knew it was her chance. She dressed up as Death with her donkey, and she went to the palace. And as she showed up, of course, the guard at the front, "Oh, it's Death," and they let her right through with her donkey. She went into the inner chamber where the king was laid out, and he was moaning and feeling terrible. "I am Death," she said. "Oh, Death, please don't take me. I want to live." And she says, "All right, I will let you live." Now, he didn't recognize her. He was thinking it's really Death. "I will let you live. For each kiss, you kiss beneath the donkey's tail. 1 year for each kiss under the donkey's tail." Underneath the donkey's tail?
Stop it. I'll do it.
To live That is right. Well, King really wanted to live. He would have preferred that this story hadn't gotten out, but yes, he planted many a kiss on that very spot. She left, and quickly, miraculously, he recovered, came back to life and health, and he was his same old riddling self.
That's weird.
And so off he went on his horse, passing by the daughter watering the clump of basil. Young lady, give me your best appraisal, me and my health. How many leaves are on that clump of basil? Caballero, give me your best reply. How many stars are in the sky? You with your answer so fine and dandy, but how many kisses did you give her candy? And she said, never, my lord, but answer without fail. How many times did you kiss beneath the donkey's tail? And he said, no! Anyway. And he thought to himself, this one's good. She matches me. I think she would be quite interesting as a wife. Now, he of course wouldn't just make that happen, and we don't even know if she would say yes. But nonetheless, he came and approached the home. The carpenter, the father, was at home, and he said, I would like to ask for your daughter's hand in marriage, but of course, being a king, I have a riddle. You need to bring her to me, neither riding on a horse, nor sitting on a carriage, nor walking. She neither can be clothed, nor not clothed. Neither one. And if you do that for me, perhaps she will marry me and I will make her my wife. Well, the carpenter, I neglected to tell you a little detail that, of course, the king said, if you cannot answer this riddle, unfortunately I have to tell you, because that's how kings do, I will cut a path between your head and your neck and make your head roll. And that's of course called, kings were like that in those days. So, they all went, and the carpenter's very upset and very concerned. He's cooking his brain, trying to figure out what could be the right answer. Can't come up with anything. He goes to his daughter, I thought I was wise in years, but I have no answer for this riddle. And she said, get me a fishing net, roll me in the fishing net, tie me to the back of the carriage, hanging me like this where my feet are there, but I'm holding on to the carriage in the net, and take the horse and the carriage and pull me over in front of the king. And of course, when the king saw her coming up in this manner, he realized she was neither clothed nor unclothed, because she was in the fishing net. She was neither sitting on the carriage, because she's sort of hanging behind it. She's not walking, because she's being kind of dragged along. And he realized she answered the riddle. And the two of them had a very honest conversation about how it unfolded between them. And they realized that they really matched each other wonderfully. And so they had their wedding.